Today we'll read a book named The Smartest Giant in Town by Julia Donaldson. George was a giant, the scuffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched up gown. So, a man named George was he lived in a town and he wore the old clothes which he wore every time. I wish I wasn't the scuffiest giant in town, he said sadly. But one day George noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes. Then George found a new shop. It was full of new smart clothes. He bought some piece of a shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds up the sides, and a pair of smart shiny shoes. So, what did he wear? A shirt, a pant, a belt, a tie, a socks, shoes. Now I am the smartest giant in town, he said proudly. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. George left his old clothes back of the shop. On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffing sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George. Then he saw a giraffe and George asked, "What's the matter?" "It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf." Then the giraffe said that it is very cold in my neck. I wanted a long scarf. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said as he wound it round and round the giraffe's neck. "It made a wonderful scarf." "Thank you," said the giraffe. Then George tied his tie on the giraffe's neck and it became the giraffe's scarf. As George strode towards home, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down, I am the smartest giant in town." George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. "What's the matter?" asked George. Then George went to a seaside and he saw a goat. He was sailing his boat and George asked, "What's the matter?" "It's my sail," said the goat. "It blew away in a storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat." Now, the goat says that he wanted a sail because his sail flew away. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his new white shirt. It kept coming until anyway, he said as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail. "Thank you," said the goat. So uh, the man gave his shirt to the goat and tied it on the boat, and it became the goat's sail, and the goat said, "Thank you." George stood on singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down, I am the smartest giant in town." George came to a tiny round house, but beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. They were all squeaking. "What's the matter?" asked George. Then he reached to the mouse home, and the mice were squeaking, and George asked, "What's the matter?" "It's our house," with the mother mouse. "It burned down and now we have nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house." Then they explained how they were so sad. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. "It was giving me blisters anyway," he said, as the mouse and her babies scrambled inside the shoe, made a perfect home for them. "Thank you," they squeaked. Then the man gave one shoe to the mice, and the mice climbed the rope and made the shoe their house. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down, I am the smartest giant in town." George came to a campsite. Beside a tent stood a fox who was crying. "What's the matter?" asked George. Then he went to campsite George. Then a fox was crying, and George asks, "What happened?" "It's my sleeping bag," said the fox. "I dropped it in a